Peace, love, and light, family. Peace, love, and light. Hey, and listen, by the way, it just turned to 2:23, but it just we was recording at 2:22. And anybody that don't know what the 2:22 is, that's an
Lucky
angel
numbers.
number. Yes, sir. And it is the angel number of protection. You know what I'm saying? So we heavily protected over here, and we heavily guided by high vibration, of course. And this is another episode of Manifesto here at the Hood Academy. Peace, love, and light. And we got another good one for y'all tonight, man. Tell them what we're gonna be talking about, bro.
Man, this is an early session, and I'm telling you, today's gonna be a show about oh early inspiration, man. Early inspiration. And
Yes,
it's
sir.
on a different level today. So we're gonna get into it. You ready,
Hmm.
TPG?
Let's get it, bro. So look, y'all. Me and my brother Tay, man, we're gonna be talking about the power of being able to say no, and also the opposite side of that, with it being hard for a lot of people to take and hear someone telling them no. So, it's may seem simple, or but I feel like a lot of people out here, you know, and I'm one of them, and I'm sure, and listen, Tay is one of them. Really, everybody here at the Hood Academy, you know what I'm saying? I feel like we are all big-hearted people. We all are family oriented. You know what I'm saying?
Most
And
definitely.
I feel like a lot of people who maybe don't come from that, they, develop these big hearts and want to spread that love. You know what I'm saying? Because some people don't. Like I said, they don't come from that. So sometimes people develop a habit of wanting to always come through for somebody. Can't say no. And that has its pros and cons. That has its pros and cons. So I'm gonna break it down like this, Tay. What do you how do you feel, or rather, how do you analyze the situation when someone comes to you for help?
And you asked me, do I say no?
I mean, basically. Basically.
I mean, if you ask me how do I say no, first things first, I don't reveal a no per se. What I do is I make
Okay.
them think outside their own box. In other words, if I was not here, what would you do?
Mm.
That way I'm not telling you no. I'm letting you know that I shouldn't be a yes right now. If you have not exhausted all your options, do not seek help from me because like
Okay.
you not exhausting all your options and knowing the type of person I am, I'm going to see it through for you. So are you really learning your lesson, or am I passing you a cheat sheet for your lessons because I'm willing to take on what you couldn't to make sure you succeed?
Mm. Damn. Nah, listen, cause shit, how you put that? Listen, for anybody that's really, you feel me? I hope y'all just really heard what bro just said, because listen, that means basically what you saying is you don't want someone codependent on you. to know that, okay, if I need something, I can go to Tay. Boom, he gonna help me out. Versus, okay, well, did I do everything in my power first to do it myself before I go ask for help?
Correct.
Okay, okay, okay. That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. And
Because because what if the so we have to realize we hear it all the time. We always hear it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, right?
right.
So with that being said, let me take my hat off, man. I ain't even worried about it.
Yeah,
Early morning
man. Hey,
session
look.
or
Yeah,
early morning
let's
session. It
lock
is what it
in.
is.
Let's
So
lock in.
yeah. So with that being said, it's like we always say, like it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. But
Hmm.
when you ask me for help in a situation that you could have helped yourself, now I'm willing to see it through for you because I felt as though you asking me for help means that you couldn't get through this part. So with that being said, I learned or I look at it like by me by me doing the journey for you, you're not going to appreciate the destination. In other words,
Mm,
by me paying that light bill for you, you're not going to learn the pros of saving your money and paying your own bills and establishing your own self. So with that
mm,
being said, if the only thing if you only throw in something, if you're always throwing something at a problem, you'll never know if you can withstand it. You're always throwing if you always throwing something against the current, maybe the current isn't that strong. Maybe it's just you fighting yourself and trying to see it through. So
mm,
you use others as a battering ram to get you to that destination. But what you fail to realize is you wasn't actually using them as a battering ram. You were using them as spare pieces that you cast to the side in the end because when you turn around and look at them, you pretty much know you're not going to ask them for help until you need them again. You know what I mean?
exactly.
It's just like play shoes at this point. Like, yeah, you might be the best hooper. You might be the best hooper when you have these pair of shoes on, but these pair of shoes do not make it to pitcher day. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I hope that analogy is making sense. But
I okay. I feel like what you saying with that is basically, and like, yeah, and I hoop for real. I do this. So I feel like that analogy was basically saying this, right? Everybody got those that favorite pair of shoes that they hoop in, that they feel like when I'm wearing these shoes, I perform my best, right?
correct,
But
correct,
what happens, let's say you forget your shoes one day. You was running late, whatever. You forget those shoes one day. But you've been so focused on playing your best in those shoes that when you no longer have them, you might have a conscious breakdown. You might, to the point where you start fighting against yourself. Now you your own worst enemy because you were so codependent on these shoes. Whole time not even knowing, with or without the shoes, you was capable of doing what you're able to do. You feel me?
the whole
So
time.
yeah, like that's what I got from that.
So yeah, let that statement reiterate what I said in my initial opening, which was that don't ask. I have no problem with saying no, but exhaust all your options before seeking help from me because I'm not the one to give you the type of help that you're going to deem you know that you're going to deem invaluable because my time is valuable. If you come to me for help, I got to give you my valuable time. So I have to treat every
Right.
moment with my valuable time. as if it's valuable. So that's
Exactly.
why that's why I'm saying like exhaust every option before asking me for help, because you there might be a lesson in that journey that you're going to miss, because I'm going to make sure you make it to the destination. Just that
That's a
simple.
fact. That's a fact. And I, bro, I love how you putting that because I need the people to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, it's a quote out there. I can't really tell you the source of the quote. Um, but it's more like a universal thing. If you know, then you know. But they said life is happening for us, not to us. I'm gonna say that again. Life is happening for us. It's not happening to us. Meaning, everything that you go through is a opportunity to grow and learn a lesson versus you going through certain situations and feel like you're being punished. You know what I'm saying? Do that make sense?
Yeah.
Because it's like, don't get me wrong now, karma is a real thing. Karma is a universal law. We on manifesto, so we gonna get deep. So karma is a universal law. What you put out into the universe will come back to you for sure. So certain things are karma. You know what I'm saying? If you know you've been out here wilding and violating people in whatever type way, you know you've been operating in a user state of mind, in a abusing state of mind, you know, causing harm, whatever low vibration, then you know that eventually that energy is gonna come back to you. It's just like what the Bible say. You know what I'm saying? You live by the sword, you gonna die by it. And that's that's just another metaphor for what you put out into the world will come back to you. But do understand that certain things happen to us that we think is punishment, and it's really situations for us to grow, or it's exposing weak bonds with temporary energy. And depending on how you take it is the type of journey that you're going to go through. So let's I'm gonna give you my personal take on how I feel about saying yes or no. Um, I am a very independent person, and you know, I have to do a lot of things on my own and figure out a lot of things on my own. Everything on my own, damn it, really, and in my personal life. So if I do have the only way that I'll say no is if I really cannot help you. But being the person that I am, and just going through the certain life experiences that I've gone through, I feel like if I can help, I'm gonna do everything I can to help, even if it's just giving a homeless man like $5 or something. Like, I don't want anybody to be codependent on me, because you can't be codependent on me anyway, because I got too much on my shoulders. So if we not locked in, then you feel me?
Yeah.
It's not gonna be that. But I will do everything I can to help as many people in this world, because I feel like That's why I go through the shit that I go through, because it's not enough love out here, bro. It's not. So I do understand that people can get um overdo it with wanting handouts, and I get that. You know what I'm saying? I do not want nobody to be codependent. Like even my son, like, yeah, I'm gonna take care of you, but I'm gonna also show you how to go get it on your own, so that you
You
don't
know,
have to worry about nobody. You feel me?
I
So
do.
I
You,
understand that. But
yeah, you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? It's funny that you say that because I was having a conversation today, and what was so crazy about it was I realized in mid conversation, and I was talking to my
mm,
cousin really in mid conversation, in the middle of me texting her, I mean, my brain snapped and it was like, shit, I know when the breaking point is going to come between me and my son. And the breaking point that's going
mm.
to come between me and my son is when he turns 16. Let me
Why you
explain
say
this.
that?
Let me explain this. Because when when I was 16, I mean before I had him at 16, I had my son at 16. So
Mm,
with that being said, I could relate to his life as a boy with no cares and no worries until I turned 16. When I turned 16 versus when he turned 16 is where our lives are going to start going in different directions because he's not going to have a kid. So he's going to see how it still feels to be a 16-year-old boy without a kid, a 17-year-old boy without a kid, a 21-year-old man without a kid. So that's where
okay.
our lives it's it's not that we're not still going to be close, but we're going to be walking on two different sides of the street. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with that being said, his outlook and mannerisms and his environmental feed-ins are going to be different from mine because he does not have kids. The only time that we will jump back on the same track is when he bring in the next generation of men in our family. That's when we'll jump back on the same track because now I can talk to you as a dad at whatever age that you're in. You know what I mean? That's when
Okay.
that's when that's when we can really relate to each other. So there's going to be a time in our lives. It's going to be a time in our lives where we will not see eye to eye, but that does not mean that we can't trust each other's vision. You know what I mean?
Fact. That's a
So
fact.
so I am mentally preparing myself to have to understand, or as we say, understand that
Mm-hmm.
the way that he's going to see the world is a way that I cannot imagine because of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with that being said, I have to trust the man that he's going to become and let him make his own decisions because I cannot relate to that man until that man has brought in the next generation of that of another man into this world from my lineage. You get what I'm saying? So
No, I do. I do.
that's why
100%.
that's why I said it was crazy that you brought up your son because I was like, man, like my I when I recognized that and I'm like, my son's 14 now, so I got 2 years before I got 2 years of being his hero. After that, he's gonna
Boy.
have to be his own hero. He's gonna have to pull
Yeah.
himself out of bootstraps because daddy don't have all the answers. I don't know what it feels like to be 17 going on a date and not have to come back before 8 o'clock because I got to take care
I
of a
was
kid.
just gonna ask you that, Tay. Let me let me ask you as a brother, like, do you feel like you kind of missed out on your? Cause my mom let you, and listen, we need to have an episode about generational curses, bro. But that's another episode for another time. But listen, my mom had my oldest sister at 16. My sister had my oldest niece at 16. So do you feel like you missed out a little bit on your childhood a little bit?
You know what? I'm not even going to say I feel like I missed out on my childhood. I felt like
Mm,
I feel like this. I feel like I didn't miss out on my childhood. I feel like I walked the path so that my son didn't have to walk that path. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I do believe in generational curses because my grandmother had my father at 16. My father had me at
Mm,
16. I had my son at 16. My father is the first son of his mother. My my grandmother I think is the first daughter of her father. So it
mm.
fell, it trickled down. Now my son is the first of his generation. You know what I mean? So it
And I
is
want
it
to say this, my bad, Tay. I don't mean to cut you off, brother, but I want to clarify for the people. I am not in no way, shape, form saying having kids is a generational curse. That's not what I'm saying. Kids are a blessing. But what I'm saying is, you know, at 16, you're still a kid. A lot of 16-year-olds think they grown, but you're still a kid. So that's a kid having a kid. That's you know what I'm saying? Like you don't,
right. And like, man, I'm sitting here saying it like, man, I don't feel like I've missed anything, but I will say
mm,
this. I will say that I learned early what some people are learning now. So
mm,
I gave up childish ways to take on an adult mindset early so that I can realize that I can still have childish ways just in an adult manner, if that makes any sense.
facts.
So that's what it was. Like I could have easily chose to be a 16-year-old kid over being a 16-year-old parent. You know what I mean? And then where would that have
Facts.
lead? Where would that have led me? I would have started making childish decisions when I needed to have an adult mindset. So now at this age where I'm supposed to have an adult mindset with with childish ways in between, now I have a childish mindset with adult ways in between. In other words, adult ways could be me appearing in court because I have a childish mindset, me fighting with multiple baby mamas because I have a childish mindset. I'm making adult,
Facts.
you know what I mean? I have adult ways. That's an adult way of procreating or whatever. But because I have a childish mindset versus having an adult mindset with childish ways, that means that that means that when you have, and the reason why I say ways instead of saying a childish way is because you don't always have to choose that way. You know what I mean? You don't always have to choose one way when we're talking about being childish. It
Right.
could be, imaginative. It could be, silly immaturity. Like there's certain levels to what I'm saying, but overall, overall you have to do it with an adult mindset. In other words, you got to build a structure. If you're going to have a ball full of creativity, you got to have a sound structure for it to have peace. Your creativity has to have peace. but you but if you have a childish mindset, now you have chaos that is built on weak foundations because you have a childish mindset with adult ways.
Mm,
I'm saying, so
mm-hmm.
what's going to end up happening is every time you try to move, you're gonna have to step weak. You're gonna have to step. You're either gonna have to overstep or you're gonna have to tiptoe when your feet should be firmly planted. So no matter which way that you stand, even though you're making progress through, like you said, we're I think you said we're experiencing life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, so now where you're supposed to be walking soundly through life, you're tiptoeing and overstepping or stepping too hard in the wrong areas. And since you're experiencing life, it's not that's how you live now. Now you're overstepping in situations because you have a childish mindset with you have a childish mindset with adult ways. But if you're planting your feet if you're planting your feet firmly with each step, that shows that you have an adult mindset with childish ways.
Right. Right. No, I feel that. I feel that. And I mean, well, I mean, and we can flow right back into the conversation as to whether the yes and the no. But I mean, honestly, this all is all connected, or this is all good gems anyway. You know what I'm saying? This is all good content, man. So we really just kicking it. But honestly, bro, I mean, I had my kid. He was conceived at 19, came into this world when I was 20, and but still, even though I didn't have a kid at 16, I still started experiencing what it was like to have to defend for yourself and have a grown up type of mindset. You know what I'm saying? So that you not. And it was a battle. I was still making childish decisions. I'm not gonna lie. Getting in trouble and you know girls, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like just a lot of low vibration. I was lost at one time, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. I feel like we all was, you know what I'm saying, especially when we were younger. But um, I feel like I definitely had to grow up way sooner, and I didn't. I had a good childhood. I can't lie, but as far as like I didn't get to experience prom and like just little certain things like that, man. But it was more so I had real stuff going on in my life, so I had to mature and really, you know, do what I need to do. So I definitely feel that, bro. I feel that, but I know one thing: my kid definitely saved me, bro.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. I can't argue with you there at all. Like my son was my balance point in my life. Like
Mm,
my daughter, I would have to say this. My son was my shield. My daughter was my sword, and then my other daughter was my armor. You know what I
mm,
mean? Because my son was my shield, which means he kept me grounded. He kept me from harm because I had to think about him in those manners. My first daughter is my sword because she showed me that you can live a different way besides the way that you already know, which was, having a son. Now you have to live for a daughter. So with that being said, you have to be more courageous. That's why I'm saying a sword, because with your son, you can be more reserved, but with your daughter, you have to stand up for her. Not saying she can't, ladies, not saying you can't step forward, but what I'm saying is, as your father, I have to step forward first and not put her in harm's way. And if she is in harm's way, I have to be on the offensive from the go. There's nothing else to be said. I have to protect my young lady. I have to protect my divine energy. I have to make sure that she is protected on all cylinders. So that's why I say my sword. As for my other daughter, she is also, once again, divine energy, but she is reserved divine energy, not expressive divine energy. I still have to protect this armor because without it, I would be vulnerable. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I have my other daughter is my armor because even though she is not mine biologically, that still does not mean that I did not have to protect her. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying she's my armor because she when I say armor, you got to keep that in mind, which is your helmet. You got to make sure it's understood that I got to protect this helmet because without this helmet, I'm going to fall off. You know what I mean? And no matter what sword or what shield I have, my armor is what keeps me alive. It's what grounds me. So as a dad, I'm gonna say as a warrior, as a dad, I need my sword, my shield, and my armor. You can't go to war without them, or you're gonna lose every war if your mind is not on your sword, your shield, and your armor. Just that simple.
that's a fact, bro. That's a fact, and I love that analogy too because You know, that's how I looked at having my son, as this protection shield over me. You know, like you said, armor, because now the stuff that I was doing, or the way that I was thinking, good or bad, you know what I'm saying? All that changes when you now have someone totally reliant on you for how they live their life. So, you know, definitely, I could no longer. I mean, I was making the transition anyway from, you know, making wrong decisions or just living certain lifestyles. But when my son came though, for sure, it was like all the way over with. I'm out the way, and shit, I never looked back from that point. I've been out the way ever since, to this day right now. And that comes with its pros and cons, but you know, I'm on a very divine journey right now, man, and I have to definitely, I have to definitely be someone for that child that I created. You feel me? And not saying I'm not someone now, because we have a great bond, but a lot of things, a lot of things is gonna be going on in our children's future, because a lot of shit is going on right now. So we have to prepare them for, you know, to have a very strong mindset, be very educated, aka enlightened, because you don't want to be educated. Education is control. You want to be enlightened with the truth and with things that is going to uplift you in your life. You don't want to be educated, but you know, we'll just say that just for the people to comprehend what's being said. You feel me? Like, we got to prepare them. But in order for us to prepare them, we got to go through this shit. So at some point in time, tell you what, and boom, we can spin it right back into this. What, at what point in time do you say no to all the clubbing and the motherfucking chilling, hanging out, turning up life? At what point do you say no to that? What stage in life do you say no? I'm done.
Okay, that's a good one because I can definitely tell you. It would definitely be the stage of when you start to value your own peace, and it usually comes after a after disappointment on a group scale. In other words, you usually learn to value your peace at an expense of a friendship or expense of a few friendships because you're no longer that person that they used to like to hang out with. You're no longer the butt of the jokes or the drunk or the party animal. You start to so with that being said, it usually comes that part of life usually comes after a disappointing loss of a few friendships. So, and it's nothing. It's not bad that you lost friends. A crab never cries over the shell that it molts from. So, with that being said, you have to understand that just because these are not your friends no more, it does not mean that your life is over. It just means that part of your life is over. So though you can't relate to them no more. And that usually comes, like I said, that usually comes at the expense of friendships, but that's also comes from the birth of your child too. When you bring another life into this world and you start to have your own self peace, and what I mean by self peace is you start to value your own peace, being around your kid, living for your kid, making decisions for your kid, learning this kid, your life has changed. You're no longer turning up. You're no longer out here doing the most. You're just literally living for your own peace, living for your own peace of mind, which goes back to what I said about having an adult mindset and childish ways. You can be imaginative with your child, but you still got to think like an adult with your child, rather than if you're out here living a childish mindset, with adult ways. Now you have a kid, but you're not doing nothing for them because you're out here putting yourself first, still trying to turn up, still trying to go to the clubs, still trying to meet up at all the hookah lounges and stuff. So now you see what I'm saying? So now your life is out of chaos, your life is out of whack. So I feel like that's when that point comes, when you're searching for inner peace.
Cause oh shit. Nah, that's a fact, brother. Cause I feel like, and again, y'all, we just dropping knowledge, dropping science. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all positive vibes over here. We encourage the people, definitely have fun, enjoy yourself. We just politicking on just certain different scenarios with certain people. Just giving y'all different perspectives on things because there are a lot of people out here who take the turn up overly serious and be very grown, mature people and have real grown things going on in their life, and they still choose to try to be on the scene, popping out somewhere, trying to be outside, as they say. So, it's nothing wrong with it, but like I said, I understand what's really going on out here. And due to the certain things that I've been through in life, I don't partying and all that stuff is cool here and there, but that it doesn't really excite me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been in certain positions where I've had it, where I didn't have it. So I'm at a stage in my life where I'm like, I just want to be stable in life. I just want to be comfortable. Like that partying and stuff is cool, but can you imagine the peace of mind in life that you would have if you had a consistent flow of stability in your life? Can you imagine that? Like to the point where you don't have no worries. That is the real listen, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna give y'all some science just cause. Listen, if you really want to enter heaven, what these people have told y'all is heaven, if you really want true peace, or if you really want to experience what heaven is like, create you a life where you have stability, where you have a constant flow of happiness, abundance, peace, and blissfulness, which is the real blessings. You know what I'm saying? But again, pay attention to the words that you say too, because they hold power. And this is why they taught us to say certain things, because they understand that. But that'll be a whole nother episode for another time too, though. You know what I'm saying? But I just want my people to be aware though, like it's important to have a good sense of being able to say no to certain things and being more comfortable and opening up to saying yes to good habits, to wanting to build financial stability for yourself, but also be able to leave something down to your kids. Because if we check out right now, right, it's so much going on in the world right now, and it's all distractions, by the way. But anyway, let's just say that all this stuff is really going on. If the world, listen, not even if the world, if let's, you know, the Most High forbid anything happen to any of us, more life to all of us, peace and blessings to all of us. And I speak that amongst anyone who is here to receive that message. But I speak that amongst the earth and the universe anyway. But say anything could happen to us at any time. What kind of impact have you left on this earth? And even just on a lower level, what would your kids have? What would your spouse have? What would your family have to, you know what I'm saying? Like what type of legacy do you want to leave? And what have you done to build that up to this point right now? So what, Tay, I want to ask you, what type of legacy do you want to leave when it's all said and done?
I always say this, you know, I always say this, I always laugh about it because I be meaning it, man. Like, I be like, when I, whenever I transcend into pure universal energy again, I will. I always said I never wanted to go to heaven. I never wanted to go to hell. I wanted to be the person who take people where they're supposed to go. Because the reason why I say that is because I love hearing other people's stories and it gives me something to learn from it. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I will be blissfully knowing that I will never acquire all the knowledge. And when I do acquire all the knowledge from these souls that is passed on while talking to them, taking them where they're supposed to go, then that means that my job has been completely fulfilled. And that means that everything is coming to an end. That's the job that I want. Like that's the if I had to leave anything generational, what type of generation that I would want, it would be knowledge seekers. It would be people who it would be a generation thing. It would be a generational thing to peer beyond, to see beyond your own perspective, because acceptance opens your perspective to different horizons. But as much as you accept is as much as you should be accepted. But you have to accept that that's not always the case either. So acceptance covers is a two-way sword that is, that you must swing every so often just to, because you can't have a battle by yourself. That is leave behind a generation. They need to learn is what I know is going to help them. Because if I acquire knowledge, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I don't know, it
Um,
went out. Is that my on my end? It went out a little bit, but I can
it
hear you
went out.
now though.
It went out on both our ends. But what I was saying was,
Shit, you muted, bro.
I've been muted. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what I was saying was, I'm sorry. So what I was saying was, in short ways of saying, I would want to leave knowledge I want to leave a generational thirst of knowledge, so that the knowledge that I've acquired, my kids will want to seek it, and the knowledge that they've acquired, their kids would want to seek it. So with that being said, with all of that being said, none of the knowledge, all the knowledge is being retained and none of it is being wasted. See what I'm saying? So I would want that quest for knowledge to be a generational thing for my family.
I like that. I like that. And I mean, honestly, if you really want to be real, um, I mean, you can have like, physical stuff like property and, real estate, things of that nature, land, stuff like that is definitely good, to keep, you know, be able to pass down and keep it in the family. You know what I'm saying? To be, a generational thing for sure. But if you really wanna help your family, you know, reach a whole new level, you definitely want to install the knowledge and make sure that, because us as parents, you feel me, it is our job to, you know, what your kids see, what they hear, they soak all that up. So, we are really molding the next generation of adults. You know what I'm saying? So it's important for us to install knowledge and good habits, and not being so, I don't know, for lack of better words, not being so lazy minded. You know what I'm saying? And I mean that in a way of like a lot of our kids now, they are, and nothing wrong with the video games, but just basically a lot of the kids are, in the house. They don't really go outside and ride bikes and just certain things that older generations did. So the way that we going now, man, we gonna have a whole bunch of TikTok social media influencers, which is cool, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the next wave, right? You know what I'm saying? Especially if you can get your stuff monetized. Okay, cool. Get you some money. But none of our kids, unless we put them on the right path, none of our kids are going to be interested in studying science, studying technology, studying medicine. You know what I'm saying? Because what all those things require school, they require stability, they require um you have funds, you have to be able to afford this shit. So this goes back to us. Are we going to be in a position to even put them through that? Or what direction do you want your kids to go in? So a lot of, you know what I'm saying? Like these are things that we have to think about and make sure that we on track and align with where we want our kids to go. Like that's you know what I'm saying? We have to lead by example.
You know what I always found funny?
What's
What
that?
I, something I always found funny was that these are the same kids. These are the same kids who've been living life vicariously their whole lives. We're talking about the same generation who watches a kid play with toys that they have in the room, in the same room with them. You know what I mean? Like we thought it was funny, but we didn't even see that it was actually a monetizing ploy to keep them constantly, no, don't worry about your life. Let somebody else play with the same toys that you got. So in other words, now you got people out here making TikToks and stuff like that. It's that same generation that's watching that they could be outside making videos, but instead they sitting in the house watching other people make videos. You see what I'm saying? So next you're gonna have a group of people who they don't want to go get it on their own. Once again, let this same statement that's probably gonna be my last statement reiterate my first statement. Now you got a group of people who are seeking help in entertainment to and when they should be out there doing the journey, but they're getting a destination of seeing somebody play with those toys, seeing somebody do those dances instead of them doing them. So now you have robbed yourself of the journey of entertaining yourselves or learning what you like and don't like, because now you have stepped in and let somebody help you do it. Imagine if your kid picked, instead of watching that child, instead of watching that child play with that toy, your child picked up that toy and started playing with it. Your child, instead of watching these other kids play that game at the hardest level, your kid's playing it at the hardest level. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying about the first statement reiterating the last. I mean, the last statement reiterating the first statement. This generation of kids, man, this generation of not knowing how to say no, not knowing the power of saying no and or being able to take a no. Not everybody's going to be the next sensation. Not everybody's going to be the next big wave. So with that being said, this is Tay the Bear for a morning session. And be real with yourself. But most of all, don't lie to yourself about where you want to be in life, because being somewhere in life means that you have a destination. So enjoy the fact that you have a journey, because your destination will be worth it in the end. Love you guys.